Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of United Kingdom 1 penny coins, focusing on the top 5 most valuable examples. These coins are not only treasured for their age but also for their condition, mint marks, and the years in which they were produced. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting your numismatic journey, this guide will give you an in-depth look at what makes these pennies truly valuable. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 1 penny coin from 1948. While the penny might seem like a very ordinary coin, certain years carry significant historical and collector value, and 1948 is one of them. We will explore its history, design features, rarity, and current market value in circulated condition, particularly focusing on how it performs in auctions when compared to better preserved examples. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or just beginning your coin collecting journey, this video will give you all the insights you need about the 1948 1 penny. The 1 penny coin of 1948 was part of the pre-decimal British currency system, which remained in circulation until decimalisation in 1971. These coins were minted during the reign of King George VI, who took the throne following the abdication of his brother, Edward VIII, in 1936. The post-war period in which the 1948 penny was struck was marked by economic recovery and rebuilding after the devastation of World War II. Coinage from this era reflects Britain's effort to restore normalcy while maintaining traditional designs that were already familiar to the public. The penny remained an essential part of everyday life, widely used for small purchases, transportation fares, and household goods, making it one of the most frequently handled coins in the country. The 1948 1 penny features a left-facing portrait of King George VI on the obverse, engraved by Thomas Humphrey Paget. His dignified profile is accompanied by the Latin inscription Georgiv 6DGBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP, meaning George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. However, it's worth noting that by 1948, the reference to Emperor of India was somewhat outdated, as India had gained independence in 1947, yet the title remained on coinage until it was officially removed in later years. On the reverse side, we see the iconic seated figure of Britannia holding her trident and shield, a design by Leonard Charles Wyon that had been used on pennies since 1860. The date 1948 sits clearly below the figure. The coin was struck in bronze, measuring 30.81 mm in diameter and weighing 9.4 grams, giving it a distinct, heavy feel in the hand. In terms of mintage, the 1948 penny was not produced in particularly small numbers. Millions were struck, making it relatively common in circulation at the time. However, what gives it added interest for collectors today is its historical placement in the post-war period and the transitional significance regarding the end of the British Empire's influence in India. That said, in circulated or damaged condition, the coin loses a lot of its potential value. Many surviving examples are heavily worn, scratched, or corroded due to the fact they were used daily for decades. Collectors typically prize coins in higher grades such as uncirculated or extremely fine, but even worn examples can be desirable for beginners, those looking to complete year sets, or enthusiasts interested in the coin's historical context. In damaged or low-grade condition, rarity is not as much a factor, but historical significance still drives some demand. When it comes to market value, condition is the most crucial factor for the 1948 penny. In circulated or worn condition, these coins generally sell for around $326,000 at coin fairs, local dealers, or online auctions. Coins with moderate wear but still retaining decent detail might achieve slightly higher prices, sometimes between $116,000. In contrast, higher-grade examples in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can fetch between $214,000, and in some cases even more if the coin has exceptional eye appeal. Auction sales tend to reflect this difference very clearly. A heavily damaged or corroded 1948 penny may only attract minimal bids, while a pristine piece can generate competitive bidding from collectors. This gap between circulated and mint-state coins highlights why condition plays such a defining role in numismatic value. For those interested in collecting the 1948 penny, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition carefully before making a purchase. Look for details on King George VI's portrait, as the sharpness of the facial features can indicate how much wear the coin has experienced. On the reverse, the clarity of Britannia's trident, shield, and gown folds are also key indicators of quality. Second, consider purchasing coins from reputable dealers or certified auctions to avoid counterfeits, even though lower value pennies are less commonly forged. Third, if your budget is limited, starting with circulated examples is a great way to build a collection and gain familiarity with the coin before upgrading to higher grades later on. Finally, pay attention to storage. Keeping coins in proper holders or albums can help preserve them for future generations and maintain their value. The 1948 one penny may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in British numismatics, but it holds an important place in history as part of the George VI series and as a relic of Britain's post-war era. Its design, its connection to the transition of the empire, and its role in everyday life make it a fascinating piece for collectors of all levels. While circulated and damaged examples may only hold modest financial value, they still carry historical charm and can be an affordable entry point into the world of coin collecting. On the other hand, high-grade examples demonstrate how much more valuable a common coin can become when preserved properly. Whether you are drawn to it for its design, its history, or its affordability, the 1948 one penny remains a noteworthy addition to any collection. Next up, the United Kingdom one penny of 1905. While pennies from the early 20th century are often overlooked, the 1905 issue has gained particular attention from collectors worldwide. This is not just another old coin, it is a piece of history, and its rarity in circulation condition makes it highly desirable in the auction market. In this video, we'll explore its history, design, scarcity, collector demand, and most importantly, its current market value in US dollars. The 1905 one penny was struck during the reign of King Edward VII, who ruled the United Kingdom from 1901 until his death in 1910. Edward VII's reign was relatively short, and the coins produced under his name were minted in smaller numbers compared to some of his predecessors and successors. The one penny denomination was an everyday coin for British citizens at the time, used in daily transactions ranging from buying newspapers to small food items. However, by 1905, mintages had dropped significantly, making this particular year scarcer than others in the Edwardian series. This low production, combined with heavy circulation, contributes to why surviving examples, especially in better grades, are sought after today. The obverse of the 1905 penny features the portrait of King Edward VII, designed by George William de Saules. The king is shown facing right, with a bare head, surrounded by the Latin inscription Edward 7 Dei Gra, Brit, OMN, Rex Fid, Def, IND, IMP, which translates to Edward VII, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse, the iconic figure of Britannia is seated, wearing a helmet, holding a trident in one hand, and resting her other hand on a shield adorned with the Union Jack. The date 1905 appears below. The coin is made of bronze, weighing around 9.4 grams with a diameter of 30.8 millimeters. These design elements tie it to both tradition and empire, symbolizing strength, stability, and national pride during a transformative era in British history. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1905 penny is its rarity in all conditions. High-grade, uncirculated examples are very scarce, but even heavily circulated or damaged coins can command interest from collectors. Why? Because many 1905 pennies were withdrawn from circulation or simply worn down over decades of use. Even coins with scratches, corrosion, or dents still hold collector appeal due to the low overall survival rate. For new collectors who cannot afford pristine examples, owning a damaged or well-worn 1905 penny offers the chance to hold a historically significant piece at a more affordable entry point. Auction records show that demand persists across all grades, proving that rarity often outweighs condition when it comes to certain dates. Now, let's talk about the numbers. The value of a 1905 penny in circulation condition can vary widely depending on just how worn or damaged it is. In heavily circulated states with major wear, these coins might sell for around $431,000. If the coin is moderately worn but still has clear details, the price range increases to $114,000. However, even a lower grade but collectible example can sometimes exceed these estimates if demand at auction is high. For comparison, coins in better preserved conditions, such as fine or very fine grades, can fetch $221,000, while extremely fine and uncirculated examples have been known to sell for several $100s, sometimes reaching above $25 at major auctions. What makes this coin fascinating is that even a damaged specimen still holds more than face value, proving just how strong collector demand truly is. If you're considering adding a 1905 penny to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always verify authenticity. Counterfeits exist, especially of rarer dates like this one. Buying from reputable dealers or established auction houses can help safeguard your investment. Second, don't shy away from circulated examples if that's what your budget allows. Even coins with wear or small imperfections can be a valuable part of your collection. Third, pay attention to details. Coins with sharp lettering, clearer portraits of Edward VII, and legible dates are always more desirable. Finally, think long-term. The 1905 penny is not just a collectible but also an investment piece. As more collectors enter the market, especially from outside the UK, demand and prices are likely to rise further. The 1905 United Kingdom 1 penny is a coin that combines history, artistry, and rarity. Struck under Edward VII during a period of lower mintages, it has become a highly collectible coin, even in heavily circulated or damaged condition. Its iconic Britannia design and imperial inscriptions remind us of Britain's early 20th century identity, while its scarcity ensures that collectors are willing to pay strong prices for it at auction. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a beginner just starting out, the 1905 penny is a fascinating addition to any collection. Its enduring value both historically and financially cements its place as one of the standout pennies of the Edwardian era. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny of 1946. This particular coin, when found in circulation today, often appears in dirty, heavily used, or worn condition. While not considered one of the rarest coins of the era, it still carries significant historical and collector value, especially for those who appreciate the journey of coins that have passed through the hands of countless people over the decades. In this video, we'll discuss its history, unique features, rarity, current market values in US dollars, and tips for collectors looking to add it to their collections. The 1946 1 penny was minted during a critical time in British history. Just a year after the end of World War II, the United Kingdom was in the process of recovering from one of the most devastating conflicts in modern history. Coins like the 1946 penny were a part of daily life, used for everyday transactions in a nation still under economic strain. The penny at this time featured King George VI, who reigned from 1936 to 1952. His coinage reflects both the hardships of war and the resilience of the British people. The 1946 penny is a pre-decimal coin, meaning it belonged to the old monetary system of pounds, shillings, and pence before the switch to decimalisation in 1971. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features a portrait of King George VI facing left, surrounded by the Latin inscription Georgiv 6D GBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP. This translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. The reverse side displays the seated figure of Britannia, a symbol of Britain's strength and maritime heritage, holding a trident and shield. Below her is the denomination 1 penny and the date, 1946. The coin was struck in bronze and measured 30.8 millimeters in diameter, making it quite a substantial coin in terms of size and weight compared to today's pennies. In terms of rarity, the 1946 penny was produced in large numbers, with a mintage of over 66 million pieces. This means that it is not considered scarce in general. However, what makes these coins interesting to collectors is their age, historical significance, and the story they tell. When found in dirty, corroded, or heavily circulated condition, their value decreases compared to coins in fine or uncirculated states. Still, many collectors appreciate even the most worn examples because they represent the long journey of these coins through post-war Britain. For beginners, owning a circulated 1946 penny can be a gateway into the fascinating world of British numismatics. Now, let's talk about market value. A 1946 penny in dirty, heavily circulated condition typically sells for about $635,000. If the coin is in slightly better but still circulated condition, the value may rise to $523,000. In higher grades, such as extremely fine condition, values can reach around $314,000. And for rare uncirculated or near-mint examples, the coin might fetch anywhere between $313,000, depending on the quality and demand at auction. It's important to note that collectors often pay a little more for coins with strong details, less corrosion, and attractive toning, even if they are not red. If you are interested in collecting the 1946 penny, there are a few important things to keep in mind. First, always check the condition carefully. Details on Britannia's shield, the trident, and the king's portrait will give you an idea of the coin's wear. Second, avoid overcleaning dirty or corroded coins, as this can damage the surface and lower their value. Instead, store them properly in coin holders or albums to prevent further deterioration. Third, look for bulk lots at auctions or coin fairs, where you might find better condition examples mixed in with more common circulated coins. Finally, consider building a date run of pennies from the George VI era, as this will give you a better appreciation for the historical context of each piece. The 1946 United Kingdom 1 penny may not be the rarest coin out there, but it represents an important chapter in British history. Even in dirty, heavily circulated condition, it carries charm and value for collectors. While its auction prices are modest, typically just a few dollars, it still makes a wonderful entry-level coin for beginners and an essential part of any British penny collection. Whether you're drawn to its historical significance, its classic design, or its role in post-war Britain, the 1946 penny deserves a place in your numismatic journey. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny from the year 1930. Now, this particular coin is often overlooked, but for numismatists, even a coin in bad circulation condition can hold great historical value and sometimes surprise us at auctions. In this video, we'll explore the background of the 1930 penny, its design and unique features, why it is considered rare even in worn condition, and what kind of auction prices it tends to fetch in US dollars. So if you're curious about old British coins and want to know whether a worn-down 1930 penny is worth anything, stay tuned. The British 1 penny has a long history dating back to the early 18th century in its modern form. By 1930, Britain was under the reign of King George V, whose portrait featured prominently on the obverse of circulating coinage. These pennies were minted in bronze and continued the tradition of featuring Britannia seated with a trident and shield on the reverse. The early 20th century was a time of economic change, and while millions of pennies were minted, survival rates and conditions vary drastically today. The 1930 penny is not the rarest of George VS issues, but it sits in an interesting period of coinage where mintages were lower than the peak years, and quality pieces are increasingly difficult to find. Coins from this period often saw decades of heavy circulation, meaning that most examples today are in poor or average condition. The 1931 penny carries the standard design of its era. On the obverse, we find the left-facing bust of King George V, with a Latin inscription Georgives V Dei Gra, Brit, OMN, Rex Fid, Def, Ind, Imp, which translates to George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse is the iconic Britannia figure, seated with a trident in one hand and a shield resting by her side. The date, 1930, appears at the bottom. The coin was struck in bronze, weighing around 9.4 grams, with a diameter of 30.8 millimeters. While the design itself was not unique to 1930, the appeal lies in its historical context, the artistry of the George V portrait, and its connection to the interwar years in Britain. Now, when it comes to rarity, the 1930 penny is not considered an ultra-rare coin, but it does hold appeal among collectors, particularly for those building complete year sets of King George V pennies. The reality is that most surviving 1930 pennies are found in poor or bad circulation condition. Decades of use in shops, markets, and everyday transactions have left many coins heavily worn, discolored, or even damaged with scratches and dents. While pristine examples can command much higher prices, even damaged coins have a collector base. Beginners often turn to affordable circulated examples when high-grade versions are out of reach. Additionally, damaged coins sometimes hold sentimental or historical value, as they tell the story of daily life in early 20th century Britain. For collectors on a budget, even a heavily worn 1930 penny can still be a desirable addition to a collection. So, how much is a 1931 penny in bad circulation condition actually worth today? On the auction market, prices vary depending on the level of wear, eye appeal, and overall demand at the time of sale. Generally, a heavily circulated example may sell for as little as $331,000, making it accessible for beginner collectors. If the coin is very worn but still identifiable, it may fetch $214,000 in some cases, especially if sold to a collector who is missing that year in their set. Higher-end circulated coins with moderate wear but still decent detail can climb into the $121,000 range. However, it is important to note that the highest values, hundreds of dollars or more, are reserved for well-preserved or uncirculated examples. In bad circulation condition, the 1930 penny is affordable, but its steady demand ensures it never drops completely out of interest on the collector market. For those who are interested in collecting a 1930 penny in bad circulation condition, here are some tips. First, always check authenticity, especially if buying online, since replicas and novelty coins exist. Look for clear date markings. If the numbers are too worn down to identify, the value drops considerably. Second, don't dismiss heavily worn coins. They can be a cost-effective way to start or complete a date run of George V pennies. Third, consider the long-term potential. While a badly worn 1930 penny may not be worth much now, demand for complete sets often increases over time, and even circulated examples can hold steady or rise modestly in value. Lastly, store your coins properly. Even damaged coins should be kept in protective holders to prevent further deterioration. The United Kingdom 1 penny from 1930 may not be a rare treasure in bad circulation condition, but it is a fascinating piece of British history. With the portrait of King George V and the timeless Britannia design, this coin represents a period of Britain between the wars, where everyday commerce relied heavily on the humble penny. While worn examples may only fetch a few dollars at auction, their charm lies in accessibility and the story they carry. For new collectors, the 1930 penny in circulated condition is an affordable entry point into numismatics. For experienced collectors, it's another important date in the journey of completing a set. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1917, in circulated fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, this coin offers a window into history, showcasing both its aesthetic appeal and its value in today's auction market. In this video, we'll explore the coin's history, its unique features, its rarity even in worn condition, and what it might be worth in dollars today. The 1917 1 penny comes from a period of great historical significance. This coin was minted during the reign of King George V, at a time when the world was engulfed in the turmoil of World War I. The penny was an essential part of everyday transactions, circulating widely among the British population. Unlike modern coins, pennies from this era were made primarily of bronze, a durable alloy of copper, tin, and zinc, which helped them withstand daily wear while preserving their distinct designs. The 1917 penny is a tangible piece of history, carrying the legacy of early 20th century Britain and offering collectors a direct link to a world-long past. The 1917 UK 1 penny features several distinctive characteristics. On the obverse, you will find a portrait of King George V facing left, surrounded by the inscription of his title. The reverse is adorned with the iconic seated Britannia, holding a trident in one hand and a shield in the other, with the word 1 penny and the year 1917 clearly visible. Coins in fine circulated condition will show noticeable wear on high points such as the King's hair and Britannia's trident, but the overall design remains identifiable. This combination of historical portraiture and symbolic imagery makes it a classic example of British coinage. While a 1917 penny is not the rarest British coin in existence, its scarcity increases when considering coins in better preserved states. Even in circulated fine condition, this coin is sought after by collectors because of its age and historical context. Coins from World War I are particularly appealing to numismatists and history buffs alike. The demand for these coins has grown steadily, especially in markets outside the UK, as collectors recognize the value of owning a piece of early 20th century history. Even worn examples can fetch a premium compared to more common pennies from later years, so what can you expect if you're looking to buy or sell a 1917 UK penny in circulated fine condition? The current market value typically ranges from $326,000, depending on the coin's specific wear, patina, and overall eye appeal. Coins with slightly better preservation, even if still circulated, may reach higher auction prices. Collectors should note that provenance, historical significance, and the presence of any unique minting characteristics can further influence the final value. For those interested in auctions, coins in fine condition often attract competitive bids, making them a worthwhile investment for those looking to expand their collection. If you're considering adding a 1917 penny to your collection, there are several tips to keep in mind. First, always verify the coin's authenticity and consult a trusted grading guide or expert to assess its condition. Handle the coin carefully to avoid additional wear or damage. Look for coins with clear date markings and legible design details, as these will retain higher value over time. Additionally, consider purchasing from reputable dealers or auctions to ensure fair pricing. Finally, be patient and take your time. Coins from this era are abundant, but finding one in the right condition at a reasonable price can be a rewarding experience. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1917 in circulated fine condition is more than just a coin. It's a historical artifact and a collectible treasure. Its combination of historical significance, recognizable design, and steady collector demand make it a fascinating addition to any collection. Whether you're a dedicated numismatist or a casual enthusiast, owning a piece of 1917 British history offers both enjoyment and potential value. So, if you come across this classic penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small but meaningful slice of the past. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on rare and valuable coins from around the world.